Boys and girls and Pokemon trainers far and wide, it's time for the PokéBlock, the segment of our show where we discuss anything and everything Pokemon, from news to competitions and our own personal Pokemon journeys. If you're listening to the snippet, you can listen to the whole show on youtube.com/Koppai Gaming, as well as iTunes, SoundCloud, and more podcast services by searching for Koppai Podcast. And this past week, we got a new Pokemon trailer that showcased a whole bunch of new stuff, including 6 new Pokemon.
Yes.
So we're going to go through bit by bit, Pokemon by Pokemon, and talk about them and wrap up the PokéBlock with some discussion on how I was personally wrong about an antagonist team.
And I was right.
And as
hashtag.
I'm still on track though with the fact that this thing is not a traditional Pokemon game. I think you were saying the same thing. Number 1, first new Pokemon, Wishy-Washy.
Yes.
A water-type Pokemon that has a new ability called Schooling, which no Pokemon has previously had. Under certain conditions, Wishy-Washy will change in battle to their school form. Their solo form is a single Wishy-Washy that's tiny and weak, measuring just 8 inches from nose to tail. Wishy-Washy is very small, even for a Pokemon, yet the people of the Alolan region seem to view it as a terrifying Pokemon. When it's in danger, Wishy-Washy glistening eye catches the light and shines out, sending a distress signal to its allies. It then becomes school form. The seemingly weak Wishy-Washy is called the Demon of the Sea because of its ferocious school form. When Wishy-Washy receives the distress signal, they unite into a huge battle formation, similar to that scene in Finding Nemo when you have the school of fish that are all working together to give Dory some directions.
Yeah. It reminds me a bit of Magikarp and Gyarados.
Yeah, definitely. Thing. It's like even the same level, I think, that you see the school form for the first time. It's not available right off the bat. And so, also reminds me of the interesting thing we've been seeing where with the Kahuna battles, like you have the Trump Pokemon that does its distress signal and the young goose comes in to support the Gumshoe.
Yeah.
There's this interesting mechanic in Sun and Moon that we've seen now twice, I guess, with this idea of backup Pokemon coming within a battle. And so I don't know if this is necessarily the same idea as that. But I mean, it's weird that it completely changes its like appearance too. Like it's so cool.
Yeah.
And I love that once again you have this lore of Alola. Like it makes sense for this kind of Pokemon to be in this region and for people to react to it and stuff. Like it's very, very cool.
Indeed.
Number 2, Pyukumuku is a water-type Pokemon, and due to their appearance and way of life, Pyukumuku are considered unappealing to tourists. Part-time work pulling Pyukumuku off the beach and chucking them back into the sea is available at tourist beaches. No matter how far imagine that, like, what do you do for your part-time job this summer? Like, just go down to the beach and chuck Pyukumukus back in the ocean. Like, what do you, like, do you get paid, like, to chuck them farther? Like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how that, like, the job description looks.
And do any of them, like, suddenly fight you? Like, you gotta throw out your Pokeball, like, alright. I
just like stick on you. I'm already picturing all these things in the anime though. Like there's gonna be a scene where they're like throwing them out and they're getting stuck on their hands.
They're writing these Pokedex entries like, alright, have it in there so the setup for the anime episodes, like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No matter how far they're thrown, Pyukumukus will always return to the same spot. Pyukumukus have a new ability called Innards Out, which no other Pokemon has had before. When this Pokemon faints, Innards Out lets it dish out a final bit of damage to its opponent, equal to the amount of HP it had left before it received the final blow. So it could potentially, if you train this guy so he has low defense, and then just pump him full of health, you can send him out as a little like suicide bomber guy. And just have him get hit and have all of his health just attack the opponent. I don't know. It's kind of like letting your chess piece fall. You could do some cool stuff with this guy, but
isn't this
gross, though.
Isn't this that little black thing that had the little like red, like the little mouth on it though? Kind of reminded me of a cat mouth or something. It had the little. You know what I'm talking about? I'd have to look at the picture again, but it looked kind of like a cute little cat mouth. And so I was a little surprised, like, it doesn't look too unappealing. Like some of the Pokemon we have had in the past that are just like little sort of sea-washed coral sort of Pokemon. It seems to have a slightly cooler, edgier, attractive look. But I guess if those were littering the beaches, maybe he wouldn't want that.
Yeah. Also, I heard that it's super tiny, like tinier than a Caterpie or something. I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe this is the next one. Number 3, Morlul. LOL. It's a grass and fairy type Pokemon. Morlul are nocturnal Pokemon that walk around at night on their leg-like roots. They move because staying in one spot and sucking all the nutrients from the soil would cause surrounding plants to wither. With their roots, they can make contact with other Morlul and communicate with each other. It has these cool little mushrooms on top of its head. Someone, I think from Bulbapedia, pointed out that upside down they look like a skull.
It also looks like...
It's like the new Paris almost.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looked kind of like that one Pokemon, that new Pokemon we saw.
Mimikyu.
Mimikyu?
I thought its eyes looked like Mimikyu.
Maybe, but the one Pokemon that has sort of the shell that comes out, I forget what it is. It's kind of yellow and red, and it looks maybe like a sort of fighting type. But it looks like this Pokemon turned upside down almost as well. But I forget exactly which one that is. I'm sorry, but yeah, there is one other Pokemon that looks very, very similar to this one that has been revealed as one of the new Alolan Pokemon. So I don't know. I think they would say if it did evolve into it, but yeah.
I don't know if they would. They've been because like Mudsdale didn't have its pre-evolution revealed for a while, so
that's true.
Moving on, number 4, Alolan Meowth is now a dark type Pokemon. And it's all purpley and very suave looking. Looks like something that belongs in the Kalos region instead of Alola. Meowth is a Pokemon that did not originally live in the Alola region. They were sent to the royal family of Alola as an offering from another region, and only a select few could have them as partners. Interesting thing that it was offered up as a offering. It's like this hidden history of Pokemon that we don't even really know much about.
Yeah.
The war in Kalos, these Meowths being offered up to Alola as an offering, like a peace treaty. Like, what is happening? Mm-hmm. It said that Meowths that were offered to the royalty lived a life of luxury and pampering, which led them to have selfish and a prideful attitude, which I thought they already had. You look at Persian, and Persian's just like super arrogant, or not arrogant, but I don't know, like very cat-like, that they think they're all that. Mm-hmm. And Alolan Meowth is even worse. So, is it going to evolve into like a normal Persian, or we can get Alola Persian? Like, because how do you go from purple Meowth to white Persian? Like, I don't know. This has caused Meowth's form to change, though. Definitely my least favorite Alola form so far.
I think, though, if it does keep that sort of look for the Persian, though, I think that could be a cool Persian. I agree with the fact that I don't really like
I don't like the wrists. That's the only thing that's really bothering me. I don't mind the purple, and I don't mind the smirk. Mm-hmm. My wife actually likes the new Meowth more. She thinks it looks more like smirky and just kind of like, I don't know, funny.
Yeah.
But I don't like the wrists. They look just like broken. I know, I get what they're kind of trying to go for, where it's kind of like doing the little like, you know, just you put your hands like whatever and all that, but it just looks a little too, when it's moving around in the game, it looks better. Number 5, Alolan Marowak, which Derek Bittner totally called from Game Explain. Shout out to him. Fire ghost type Pokemon, the Marowak in the Alola region takes bones and lights both ends on fire by rubbing them against their foreheads. Then they spin the bones around. Marowak's rarity and its fearsome appearance when it dances with its bones led the people of Alola to dub it a conjurer and regard it with fear. Yeah, it definitely looks very like kind of like demonic, kind of haunting, not as Hawaiian as people maybe would speculate the Marowak to look, where it's like, you know, doing the fire twin dances. Like it's doing that, but even in a darker twist, which kind of goes along with the Marowak Cubone sort of lore of them being pretty dark, ghostly Pokemon.
Yeah. I think it's another one of my coolest forms, I guess, of like the Executor and the Vulpix Ninetales, and this one are kind of my favorites so far of the new forms, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the Fire Ghost combination And the way
really
he
cool.
looks like, I want him on my team.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the end together. And it fits in with if I do a fire lock again, hopefully I can get him on my team. And last but not least, Alolan Raichu, number 6, electric psychic type Pokemon. Apparently the first time that's ever been a combination. The Raichu and Alola has 2 types, electric and psychic, and they are able to wield psychic power. What's more, they can gather their psychic power in their tails and then ride on their tails to float in the air like a little surfboard. It's another one, it's like my second least favorite one, with Alolan Meowth being the worst new Alolan form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Raichu just looks too Dino.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that, like, when we were starting to get these different forms rolling out, I was like, man, Raichu would be a perfect one to do. I hope they do like a Raichu, or even like a mega evolution of Raichu, because Raichu, I feel, Pikachu gets so much of the attention. Raichu really has been kind of neglected a lot in the series history, I feel like. And to give it a reason that you'd really want to have a Raichu over a Pikachu and actually evolve it, I felt like was a really good opportunity for them in this game. And I feel like they I really like, what I like best about it is the fact that it's surfing on its tail is a really cool look. But the fact that I never really liked Audino's look, and when I look at them side by side, like, Raichu has always kind of had a little bit of an Audino sort of look, so it's not like an extreme dramatic thing. It's really those eyes that kind of, something about it is like just too almost glossed over and kind of dead inside or something. That, like, something about it is just not sitting completely right with me. Where
and also Audino because they give so much bonus XP for some reason. Like, I don't get it, but
and also the ears, I think, is another thing that kind of really relates them together.
And the theory is that it ate too much pancakes. Like, this one just seems like the least thought of. Like, I don't even get it.
And they had such a good opportunity with it, and I just feel like it's a little unfortunate.
No one's going to use an electric stone on their Pikachu now. So, thanks. Although I bet
that was probably the reason. It's a conspiracy. They probably just made it, like, not super, like, we don't want to take away from Pikachu's cuteness.
Well, I bet the other thing also is that your rival in the game, or your friend, or whatever they have him being called nowadays, has a Pichu at the trial thing. I bet the Pichu evolves into Pikachu, which then evolves into this Raichu to kind of showcase that.
Yeah, I want a Pikachu that has eaten too many pancakes and is just a fat Pikachu. And I would
bring back Fat Pikachu.
Yeah.
Fat Pikachu 2016.
Yeah.
Also, I'm surprised they aren't doing something more with Surfing Pikachu, because Surfing Pikachu can come from your Pokemon Yellow copy, so I wonder how that's going to all work. For the first time you can bring him to a modern game. Surely they have something prepared for that. Moving on, I think we're going to save most of this following discussion for next week's PokéBlock.
Yeah.
Simply because we're running out of time, and because I don't know if we're going to be getting much more information the next week, so this would be nice to talk about next week. So next week on the PokéBlock, we'll be discussing Team Skull. There are some new details about that, including the bosses, the grunts, some of the locations. And there's also some more information on Ivy, the hyper training, the detailing your Pokemon IVs. And there's some other information on Iwata and Pokemon Go. So we'll be talking about that next week on the PokéBlock. The non-stop hype train for Pokemon Sun and Moon is certainly strong. And if you're feeling the hype, be sure to share your biggest anticipation for the future of Pokemon, as well as one of your favorite new Pokemon designs, down in the comments below. Or if you're watching or listening on iTunes or Stitcher or SoundCloud, be sure to tweet at Koppai Gaming to share us with those. Share any experiences you've had with your Pokemon journeys with us in the comments or on Twitter. And be sure to like and share this either snippet or this whole video if you enjoyed our Pokemon discussion.
Yeah.